You're not lazy. You're surviving. Have you ever felt like this? White right pointing back hand index, you know what you need to do, but just can't start. White right pointing back hand index, you pick up your phone, then put it down, and the whole day passes without getting anything done. White right pointing back hand index, then you blame yourself, I'm so useless. Why am I this lazy? But you know what? You're not lazy. Your brain is simply in survival mode. Pushpin, and when the brain is under prolonged stress, it stops prioritizing growth, learning, or achieving goals. It only wants to get you through the day. Bullseye, that's not weakness, it's a defense mechanism. But if you don't realize this, you'll keep blaming yourself, get even more drained, and eventually, give up. White heavy check mark, stay until the end of this video. Because you'll finally understand why you're not lazy, you're just stuck in survival mode. And how to gently awaken your energy, your motivation, and your inner vitality the right way. Speech balloon, if you've ever seen yourself in this, leave a comment. I'm not lazy, I'm healing. White right pointing back hand index, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss more healing videos like this. Part 1, you're not lazy, you're just trying to survive. You open your eyes in the morning, but you don't want to get out of bed. You sit in front of your computer, but can't bring yourself to start. You look at your to-do list and feel like a heavy weight is pressing down on your entire body. And then you say to yourself, why am I so lazy? I'm so useless. I can't do anything right. Explosion symbol, but the truth is, you're not lazy. Your brain has been pushed into survival mode. What is survival mode? When you're constantly under stress, overwhelmed by pressure, or weighed down by long-term disappointment, your body activates a special mechanism in your brain called survival mode. This is a state where your nervous system no longer prioritizes learning, creativity, or productivity. White right pointing back hand index, instead, it shifts into protecting mode, focused on minimizing risks, conserving energy, avoiding conflict, and shielding you from emotional overwhelm. You're not doing nothing because you're lazy, your brain is freezing up to keep you safe. You procrastinate to avoid the risk of failure. You can't start to avoid the pressure of expectation. You feel a deep, invisible fatigue because your brain is trying to protect you from emotional burnout. Warning sign hash, and that's when the real trap begins. You start blaming yourself. You're not just tired, you feel guilty for being tired. You're not just stuck, you beat yourself up for not pushing through. That loop, tired, guilt, stress, even more tired, slowly pushes you into mental and emotional exhaustion without you even realizing it. Electric light bulb, what you need first is not motivation. You need self-compassion. You need to realize, I'm not weak, I'm just exhausted. I'm not worthless, I just need a path to healing. And the good news is, high voltage sign, your brain can recover. Your nervous system can reset. Your motivation can come back when you learn how to pause the right way, listen to yourself, and move forward from where you truly are. Part 2, you don't lack willpower, your brain is just frozen. Have you ever felt like this? You look at your to-do list, and it feels like staring at an impossible mountain. You know you need to get up, start moving, do something, but your body feels like it's being pinned down. And the more you try to force yourself, the more breathless, impatient, or completely shut down you become. Bullseye, that's not weakness. That's a real neurological response known as the freeze state. The freeze, a nervous system survival response. When you're overwhelmed by stress, emotional overload, or constant pressure with no resolution, your nervous system may instinctively choose the freeze response as a way to survive. Lock, your body is technically alive, but your mind has gone numb. You're still breathing, still eating, still scrolling your phone. But inside your head, it's just a fog. Biologically, this is what's happening. Your midbrain and amygdala go into high alert, interpreting everything as a threat. Your sympathetic nervous system becomes overloaded. Your dopamine levels, the chemical tied to motivation, drop dramatically. your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, focus, and decision-making, nearly shuts down. The result? You can't concentrate. You can't take action. And you can't think clearly, no matter how hard you try. Heavy exclamation mark symbol the worst part? You don't even realize you're in this freeze mode. Instead, you blame yourself. I'm just lazy. I need more discipline. Other people get things done, why can't I? But that self-blame only triggers more cortisol, the stress hormone, which sends you deeper into the spiral. Electric light bulb, the good news? You can get out. You don't have to beat your brain with more discipline. What you really need is to send safety signals to your nervous system. Not more motivation, but small doses of stability repeated consistently. Because when you create a safe enough environment, your body gradually exits survival mode. Your brain restores its dopamine. And your ability to focus, think, and create naturally returns. You don't need to be stronger. You just need to feel safer, and from that place, your strength will follow. Part 3: How to guide your brain out of survival mode. By now, you understand. You're not lazy, your brain is simply stuck, blocked by stress and self-protection. But understanding alone isn't enough. The real question is, bullseye, how do you break free from this state? How do you go from being frozen, unmotivated, and unable to start, to becoming yourself again, clear-headed, proactive, and connected to life? The answer isn't try harder or push yourself more. When your nervous system is in survival mode, any extra pressure backfires. Pushpin, what you need is a gentle, proven way to restore your nervous system. A way to send safety signals back to your brain. 1. Safety signals, the language your nervous system understands. Here's the first truth. Your nervous system doesn't respond to logic. It doesn't care what you say in your mind, it doesn't understand phrases like, I have to get it together. I can't be lazy anymore. I must finish this right now. The only thing your nervous system understands is safety or danger. And if it perceives danger, even something small like an unread email or vague anxiety, it will trigger muscle tension, shallow breath, racing heart, lack of focus, loss of motivation, shutdown, and procrastination. Pushpin, so the first step out of survival mode is to send signals of safety to your brain. 2. Electric light bulbs, start with small, physical actions that feel real. Here are simple but powerful techniques, backed by polyvagal theory, trauma recovery, and neuroplasticity research. White heavy check mark A, intentional breathing, reset your brain in 90 seconds. The simplest, most powerful safety signal is your breath. Not shallow or distracted breathing, but conscious, paced breathing. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale gently for 6 to 8 seconds. White right pointing back hand index long exhalations stimulate the vagus nerve, your body's main calming switch. Just 90 seconds can stop your stress response and help your brain re-enter thinking mode. White heavy check mark B, gentle touch, reconnect with the present. When you're frozen or spiraling, physical contact grounds you in the now. Try placing your hand on your chest to feel your heartbeat. Lightly touching your arm as if comforting yourself. Holding a cool glass of water and sensing its temperature. White right pointing back hand index. These small sensory moments remind your brain, I'm here. I'm okay. I'm safe. White heavy check mark C, soft movement, awaken your nervous system gently. You don't need intense workouts. Just gentle, conscious movement, like a 5 to 10 minute walk without your phone. Slow, mindful stretching. Light shaking of your arms, neck, or head for 60 seconds. Pushpin, the goal isn't exercise, it's to reassure your nervous system that you're not trapped, and that your body is free to move. When the body feels freedom, the brain feels safety. 3. Seedling rebuild dopamine, the brain's natural motivation fuel. One reason you feel numb or uninterested in everything is because your dopamine, the chemical of drive, has dropped. And here's the trap. The more you wait for motivation to come, the less likely dopamine will show up. Because dopamine isn't triggered by thinking, it's triggered by action. So, start by doing tiny tasks with a clear finish. For example, clean your desk for 2 minutes. Finish. Brain says, I did something. Dopamine kicks in. Repeat this daily, not to chase results, but to recharge your motivational system. Like filling up a battery, one drop at a time, until your brain wants to do more. 4. Counterclockwise arrows. Rhythm, not discipline, is the real cure. And finally, perhaps the most important truth. Pushpin, you don't need a massive transformation to heal. What you need is a gentle, repeatable rhythm that teaches your nervous system, I'm okay now. Try this. Wake up at the same time each day, even just to drink water. Begin the morning with one slow, intentional action, no rush. Keep a regular pause in the middle of your day, to reset. End the day with one act of self-care, like soft music or journaling. Right pointing backhand index. Small actions, done consistently, are like gentle medicine for your nervous system. You don't heal with brute strength. You heal with rhythm. You don't need more determination. You need to understand your nervous system and guide it back, gently, to safety. And when you stop forcing, stop blaming. When you start small, with kindness and awareness, that's when your brain opens up, motivation returns, and you begin to truly live again. Not from a giant leap, but from a small step in the right direction, repeated with care. Part 4 of the journey back to yourself. When you fall into a state of burnout or low motivation, you don't just lose the energy to act. You lose something deeper, your connection to yourself. You forget who you are, what you once wanted, or why you even began this journey. Each day becomes a blurry copy of the last. You wake up, eat, work, and sleep, but you don't truly live in any of those moments. Pushpin, that's the deepest consequence of long-term survival mode. It's not just physical exhaustion. It's the disconnection from your own identity. You don't survive through willpower, you survive through connection. Modern neuroscience shows the people who overcome prolonged stress are not the strongest. They're the ones who can reconnect to themselves and to the world around them. That connection doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It can begin with something as small as a breath, a meaningful act, or a quiet reminder to yourself. Right pointing backhand index. I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I deserve to begin again. Herb. So, how can you begin the journey back? You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to escape to a retreat. You don't need a $5,000 healing vacation. You simply need to rebuild your relationship with yourself, slowly, sincerely. Here are 3 simple but powerful ways to step out of survival mode and become the guide of your own life again. Heavy check mark 1. Speak to yourself like someone you love. How long have you been feeding yourself nothing but criticism? Why are you so weak? You can't even do this simple thing. I'm a failure. I'm worthless. You would never speak that way to a loved one in pain. So why speak that way to yourself? Right pointing backhand index. Change your inner voice. From judgment to compassion. From pressure to guidance. From I must be perfect to I'm trying, and that's already something beautiful. Pushpin, the words you use with yourself are not just words. They're how you rebuild emotional safety, the foundation of deep recovery. Heavy check mark 2. Create small real moments each day. When you live in survival mode, every moment feels dulled by stress. You're never fully present in your life. So start bringing yourself back, gently, intentionally. Drink tea without looking at your phone. Write down a few honest thoughts, no need to be poetic. Walk for 10 minutes and just watch the sky, listen to real sounds. Sit and breathe, just breathe, for 60 seconds. Right pointing backhand index. Don't underestimate these little acts. Each time you do them, your brain registers. I'm not spiraling anymore. I'm coming back. White heavy check mark 3. Choose a ritual, your personal commitment to life. In our fast-paced world, we live to finish tasks, hit goals, check boxes. And we slowly lose the rituals that give life its meaning. Bring one back, just for you. It might be a quiet morning with candles and soft music. A nightly affirmation in the mirror, did I live true to myself today? A small action you do each day, not for productivity, but for presence. Pushpin. A ritual is your way of remembering who you truly are, once a day, every day. Speech balloon once again. You don't need to change your whole life. You just need to change how you treat yourself. Less judgment. Less rushing. Less self-pressure. And begin to build an inner space, warm enough, safe enough, for the real you to return. You don't need to become amazing overnight. You just need to come home, little by little, to the part of you that needs healing the most. When you stop fighting yourself. When you start talking to yourself like a friend. When you bring back moments that feel real, even if they're short. White right pointing back hand index, that's when you step out of survival. White right pointing back hand index, that's when you begin to truly live. Not to do more, but to live deeper and reconnect with what matters most. Conclusion, you're not lazy. You're coming back. If you're still in that foggy phase. If you feel like you can't do anything, like you just want to disappear into a quiet corner. If you haven't yet found your energy again. White right pointing back hand index, that doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're weak. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just tired. You're just protecting yourself. You're just trying to survive in a world that demands too much. Pushpin. And maybe today, right now, watching this, is the first moment you've chosen something different. Not to try harder. Not to push yourself just to get things done. But to slow down a little. Look inward. And gently say to yourself, I'm not lazy. I'm healing. And I'll come back in my own rhythm. Bullseye. Healing isn't a race. It's the journey back to you, the real you, kind, full, and enough. Not because you're doing more, but because you're living more deeply, more clearly, and more connected to what truly matters. Speech balloon. If you saw yourself in this video, leave a comment. White right pointing back hand index, I'm not lazy. I'm coming back. Pushpin. Because maybe, just like you, there are thousands of others out there feeling tired, empty, or lost. And sometimes, all it takes is one comment, one video, one small reminder to realize the most important truth. They're not alone. Person raising both hands in celebration. And if this video spoke to you, Pushpin, like it. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next healing message. Pushpin. Share it with someone who might need it today, because maybe, just maybe, you are the light they need to find their way back.